selfie with Mama Hiroki, okay? Next, we will hear an experience by Diana.
I probably should have gone before the skit. How do you follow that? Okay, so my name is Diana Chia. Thank you for allowing me to share my experience today. Sorry. My mother has witnessed genocide in her home country, experienced death of her firstborn, and raised two amazing daughters in a foreign country. She'll cry when you break up with a boyfriend and help you make your dreams come true. She's my biggest fan and the most generous person I know. She drives me crazy at times, but she's the most phenomenal example of how to be a great mother. I was very close to my mother during my elementary school years. She walked me to primary school every day and made it a point to be involved with my education. She often talked to my teachers in her broken English, but her communication was very clear. She cared deeply about my happiness and expected me to be successful. She worked hard as a single mother for the happiness of her two daughters. When I was 12, I joined drill team with SGI USA youth performing groups. She always made sure I made it to the bi-monthly practices in Santa Monica. My teen years, however, were full of angst. I developed a lot of anger and resentment toward my family. While my mother tried to reconcile a broken relationship with my father, I displayed my anger through passive aggression with my father and by yelling and cursing at my mother. Although my mother worked hard to give me what I wanted, I had little to no appreciation. She would often say, "You are so lucky to have this. When we were in our war-torn country, we had to do this." My insensitive and entitled responses would often be, "So, I don't care." I was too consumed with my own suffering. As time progressed, so did our anger and frustration toward one another. Our weekends included yelling matches where she cursed me in Cambodian. I would then ask my sister to translate what she just said. And then I would reply, "Oh, hell no," and then curse back to her in English. I'm sure there were many times it sounded like a Cambodian-American civil war. When I was 16, my father passed away. I was devastated. I had so much regret with him that I determined not to have the same regrets with my own mother. Through his death, I realized that I had to appreciate what I had when I had it. I reflected on how people and things, such as artwork and life contributions, seem to be more valued once someone passes. I wanted to learn to appreciate that value while someone was living. My father's passing also helped me deepen my mentor-disciple relationship. Because of my mother, my father chanted the last years of his life and even attended FNCC the month before he passed. Externally and with friends, I smiled and seemingly things were great. Internally and at home, I was deeply unhappy. I resented being poor, from a broken family, from a culture that had such a tragic past, and we always seemed to be struggling. I envied nuclear families that openly expressed their love and appreciation for one another. I almost didn't graduate high school on time with my peers due to dealing with my father's death, a breakup, and getting kicked off the cheer squad for poor grades. The struggle continued into college, almost getting kicked out my second semester at a community college. However, I was able to turn my grades around after participating in student division activities and graduated from San Francisco State with my bachelor's and later Teachers College at Columbia with my master's. I remember coming home to visit often during my undergrad, and each time my mom dropped me off at the airport, she sat in her car and chatted at the airport until I landed safely back at college. From the time I transferred away for college and 10 years thereafter, I lived away from my mother to prove my independence. Yet, in May 2012, my mother had a major stroke. This stroke would change the trajectory of my family's life. 6 months prior, I had battled thyroid cancer in Chicago. My mother and older sister flew out to take care of me. Exactly 1 month after my surgery, my grandmother passed away at the age of 92 in Cambodia. My mother would talk to her mother every night by phone. One evening, my mother told my grandmother how much she loved her and was sad that they didn't get to spend this lifetime with each other. It turned out that my mother was the only one brave and courageous enough to escape the Cambodian communist guerrilla army, and that is why my mother and my sister were the only ones in our family in the United States. Since my mom was separated from her mother for most of her life, that evening she vowed to be born together with her in future lifetimes. Mystically, that was their last phone conversation. My grandmother passed away a few hours later. It made clear how important it was for me to be able to spend so much time together with my mother in this lifetime. I remember telling my mother once that I hoped to repay my gratitude to her, my debt of gratitude to her by being her mother in another lifetime. Her response was, "Oh shit." Illness has been a great contributor to our family unity. For the past 3 years, my sister and I have been able to show our deepest gratitude to our mother by being her caretakers. My mother went from being completely independent to needing constant care around the clock. She has given her entire life to take care of us, to give us the best life she can, and now it's an honor for us to take care of her. While she is paralyzed on her left side, her spirit has never been broken. She makes us laugh every day, and I'm full of appreciation for her. Although it might get hard at times, I am reminded of all the causes she's made for us to become a harmonious family, and I'm humbled by her life force. Stories like her cutting off her hair to become unattractive to the Khmer Rouge shows me her wisdom. Blindly leading others in the middle of the night through the Cambodian jungles to seek refuge from a war-torn country displays her courage and hope. The love and strictness she showed me growing up exemplifies her compassion. Her quick wit and potty mouth exudes her humor, and most importantly, she's repeatedly shown me what unshakable faith and conviction in Nichiren Buddhism and resiliency looks like. These stories about my mother give me the greatest wealth. She shows me through her own life that my life is powerful beyond any measure. My character and successes are greatly attributed to her and to Sensei. I'm so happy to be able to spend this Mother's Day with the most incredible mother I know. She's actually in the back of the room. One of my greatest fortunes in life is to be surrounded by strong, supportive women in my family, at work, and within the Silka family. Thank you, everyone, for enriching my life and providing me with such valuable guidance. I'd like to close my experience today with a quote from the April 16th World Tribune from Sensei. Quote, "Mothers possess incredible strength, and they can change anything." End quote. Thank you.